Welcome to Eritrean Society, episode 2, Inspire and Motivate. Today we bring you
Mr Semra, a teacher, private tutor, educational bloggist, and an MC in church. We get to that as and when.
Fantastic. So, tell us a bit more how you got into the industry.
Well, I was working at my local leisure centre at the time, and it was just a job for me. It was nothing major, nothing too fancy, just a way of making money. And it was one evening, Sunday evening, I sat back with a bottle of rosé, and I started to think, where is my life headed? What is it that I want to make? What is my legacy? What is my purpose? And I started to delve into the things that I'm good at, and a common theme seemed to occur. I'm the eldest at home, so I was always helping my brothers and sisters with their sort of education and helping them with their homework. I've taught Holy Communion classes to children in church, and I serve at Mass where I'm teaching other kids on how to be an altar server. And the common theme seems to be in all of those is teaching and working with children. And so it dawned on me that perhaps going into the education industry would be something that could sort of be my cup of tea. And since then, the rest is history, really. It's been a say turbulent journey with lots of lessons to learn, lots of experiences to take on board. But I would 100% say that this is my calling, to make a difference.
Yeah, so we'll get a bit more into that, obviously, and I guess the spiritual aspect is very important too. Tell us how you got to this point. So, what was your route in? So, you told us what inspired you.
So, I mean, we can go at this two ways, really. I think we'll start off with the logistics side. I applied for university, coming off the back of having a computer science degree, where I wasn't really able to utilize that to my best of my abilities. And I actually applied 3 times over. So my first application, I was rejected by all 3 universities, purely on the basis that I did not have any classroom experience or teaching experience. And the second time I applied, the same issues. However, I did argue and say that, I've taught Holy Communion classes in church, and whilst they might not be in a classroom, it's experience with children in a teaching aspect. However, they felt as though it was still not enough experience nonetheless. So on the 3rd time of trying, I actually sent an email to every single primary school in Lambeth, Southwark and Wandsworth prior to the beginning of the academic year, just so that I can get those 2 weeks work experience. And it seemed to be that, just like London buses, plenty of schools came along with a lot of offering experience, and I took on board. Rather than being picky, I decided to take on board every single aspect. So all I needed was 2 weeks, really, just 2 weeks work experience to be considered. But I ended up working for practically the entire term. So that's how I got into it, and eventually started studying at St Mary's University College in Twickenham, and that's where I got my teaching degree. Did the PGCE, so it's a postgraduate certificate of education, where it's a 1-year course, very intense, very, very intense. There were lots of ups and downs in that one, and I got through it. Came also out with a CCRS, because I have intentions of being a head teacher as well, and as a Catholic, I'd love to work in a Catholic school, so I can also combine my spirituality and religion with my profession. And to be a head teacher in a Catholic school, you need this qualification, which is called CCRS, Catholic Certificate of Religious Studies. And when it comes to applications for schools, especially in Catholic schools, it's very desirable. So it can only be a plus for me. So along with my PGCE, which is worth 1/3 of my master's anyway, I have a CCRS as well. That is obviously going to enable me to progress forward in the career.
That's inspirational in itself. Like, obviously, in today's society, we see kind of like the winners, and rejection is a big part and failing of actually succeeding in the end. What would you say? So you told us about your ambitions. What would you say? What is it to teach?
To teach is to educate. To teach is to motivate. To teach is to inspire. For me, to teach is to be able to impart knowledge onto someone else, to make a difference, a better difference in their life. And that is my primary motivation. I mean, we've all grown up in South London, we all live in this city, and we've seen some of the dangers and some of the temptations that the world has, this environment has on our young children and the generations. And I want to get rid of it. If I was being frankly honest with you, I want to get rid of it. I want to eliminate it. I feel as though that if me myself and with the history that I have and the life that I've lived, if I'm able to teach these young children that there is a better way, a more momentous way of living life, a more enjoyable way of living life that doesn't have to involve crime or involve any sort of misdemeanors or involve any sort of hatred, then that is what teaching is for me. Teach them to become model citizens of the world that they live in, to make a bigger impact. And I think only then humanity can then start to blossom and show the fruits of its labour. Because I think humanity is in a very, very dark place at the moment, steeped with jealousy, steeped with envy, steeped with a lot of self-doubt and a lack of true understanding of who one is and what they want to be. Because I've always said there are three people in life. There are three versions of ourselves: who we think we are, who we really are, and who we want to be. And a lot of us are really, really tied in who we think we are. That person maximizes the positives but minimizes the negatives, and that person can lead you astray. I think it's very important for us to know who we really are, to accept our faults, to accept our traits, both good and bad, and to also recognize what we need to do to become the person that we want to be. And right now we have a lot of people, a lot of children who are in this mold where they think they know who they are. And I guess part of that leads to the whole, well, all of the craziness that happens outside, where there's a lack of true understanding of who they really are. And that's what teaching is. Teaching is not just the English, the maths, the sciences. It's not just how to behave. Teaching is to understand who you really are as a person and understand the journey that you need to embark on to become who you want to be. And I guess that's really why I came into teaching for, to make a difference. I guess that's why all teachers come into teaching, just to make a difference in the lives of others. I hope I do it one day though. I hope I'll do it. It's an ambitious plan, but I think I'll get there. I still have the enthusiasm for it, even after 4 years in. So that hasn't changed.
How are you going to do it?
That's a very good question. To be honest, impacting the lives of other children is something that I seem to have had very big success in, but never really understood why. Part of what I do outside of teaching is I serve at Mass. I'm an altar server in my parish Catholic church, and I've been doing that for the past 20 years. I never once advertised it. I never once proclaimed that it was the best thing in the world. I just did my job. I did my job as best as I could, as reverent as I could. And it was only within the last 2 years when I really recognized the impact that I've had. And the impact that I had comes simply under one thing: just being the best version of yourself. I think a lot of children do not have the ability to become the best version of themselves because they are so steeped, and I use the word steeped because it is an accurate reflection of, or steeped in the lives that they want to live outside on the street. You know, you've got the roadman on the street that's making money, or you've got the rap artists, as much as they've done, you know, I can't discredit them for their work, but these lives that they want to live sometimes are not the best lives, and sometimes comes with a lot of obstacles and a lot of fear and a lot of difficulties that they don't really see at first. And it's only when they're in too deep, 6 feet in too deep, where we start to see the actual problems. And I've always said to myself that if I become the best version of myself, then I can impact others to become the best version of themselves. In church, well, not even in church. In the last school that I taught in, it was the primary school that I used to attend as a child. And the church next to it is the church that I serve. And just to show you the impact that I've had by being the best version of myself, I taught a class of 25 children, and those 25 children who I taught, who I no longer see at school, over half of them serve with me at church now, purely because, and again, I didn't advertise it, I didn't proclaim that, this is the best thing, come and follow me, I will show you the way, the truth, and none of that stuff. I did essentially what Jesus did: become an example, become the best example, in the hope that people will be inspired and motivated by the life that you live, to go and live their lives in the best versions of themselves. So right now, I've practically got, I'd say now enough, I've got 3/4 of the children who I taught last year serving with me at Mass. So to answer your questions, to be the best version of yourself, I think over time, humans as a whole, we love to look at the negatives and we love to pinpoint and we love to pick on things and criticize, but actually when you reflect at the end of the day, they look for the good and they realize, actually, do you know what, I can also be the best version of myself. I can see how much this guy or this lady or this person has had impact on their life. Let's take it on board, let's see how it goes.
Yo, I don't need a coach. I don't need advice.
Good talk, coach. Thanks.